This college football coverage is sponsored by Bob Moore Kia of Edmond.
Thank you, Michael. Welcome, everyone. Reviewing back to the Baylor game. Again, very poor performance on our part. I take full responsibility for it as the head coach. When you lose a game that way, when I say you're outplayed, you're outcoached and outplayed at different times on the field. All of us together have a hand in it. I would say, we started the game off as, ready to play as you could be. We really have an excellent first quarter, and then we have a disastrous second quarter that really took the wind out of us. When you have a turnover for a TD, we miss a field goal. We're out of it on a stop, going to get the ball, about midfield, and we rough the punter and give the leading, scoring team in the country the ball at the 50. We just really hurt ourselves in that sequence of events as well. Every possession in the second quarter, we had a penalty. We had illegal formation and 2 holding penalties on 2 other occasions that puts us in 1st and 20, and we're not able to convert on it. So that sequence of events really, really hurt us bad going in at halftime. And then coming out at half, we didn't respond very well. In the end, they outplayed us badly in the second half. Defense, offense, both sides of the ball, they executed a lot better than we did and obviously coached a lot better than we did. So that's how you lose a game that way. And again, compliments to Baylor. They played well. Their quarterback was outstanding, and they made the big plays. We are on to Texas Tech here this week, going down there to play. Trevor right now will not practice today. We won't know his status until Tuesday or Wednesday. Once I do know, I will, say one way or the other. So far, all his X-rays and MRIs have been clear. It's just being able to manage. He's pretty sore right now, and being able to manage that. So we'll just see how he continues to recover, and I'll report on it once it's definitive. What he's going to do. So it'll be a big challenge going down there. A team that's again better than their record indicates. They played without their quarterback in the last game. Their starting quarterback Webb, but expect them to be back here this week. Team that, again, spreads the ball out, throws it really well. Defensively sound, plays hard. So, again, we've got to do our part to be better, executing, the run game, throwing the ball, defense, being able to challenge and cover people. So we're going to, determined to go back to work here today and hopefully improve, as we finish out this week and finish out this year. I'll open it up there for questions.
The expectations were really high before the year began, and a lot of big, lofty goals. Those goals are now gone. How tough will it be to motivate this team the rest of the way?
Well, I don't know. I think they'll respond. I still believe it's a strong character group with that are guys that have character and pride about how they play, and I believe they'll continue to play hard, and I know they will. And they'll come to practice today ready to work and make improvements where we can, and hopefully play better, when we get down there on Saturday.
So it's it's only pain, the way you're describing it. There's nothing with a concussion-related thing.
It's not concussion, and outside of that, no. Obviously, if the X-rays and MRIs are all clean, no, there isn't any of that. It's so it's just we'll just see how he continues to respond. He's just pretty sore, naturally so from the blow, but it isn't to the head.
Bob, in the second half, you tried to put pressure on Baylor, and Petty was able to pick it apart and work with it. Schematically or structurally, the way you want your corners to play, would you want them to play that far off as they looked at times, or do they have a choice to play up on that?
We needed to react quicker at times, and other times, yes, we got to go up and challenge, bump and run it, and take your chances. And that became harder in Julian's defense when you have a cast on. That's a little tougher to do, and he deserves that break.
On every play, does the corner have can he go up and press if he wants to?
At times they can bump. At times we don't want them to bump. Other times we we mixed in even zone coverages where we thought we had opportunities to jump some of those, and we didn't do it very well. So all of it together.
What were your options in lieu of playing if you didn't play a guy with the one arm out there that was struggling? Did you have?
Yeah, Jordan Thomas came in and played well. A true freshman that that needs to, and if depending on how Julian can react with that hand, he may have to have the opportunity to be out there more.
What about Sterling Shepard's status?
Still, as of yesterday, still unsure. That'll be something that'll go through the week that we'll just have to see. How it improves through the week.
How did the receivers do without Sterling being in there?
Micaiah Quick, really played pretty well. He and Duran made some good plays. So they did a pretty good job. Blake had a good game. Missed him on a couple of occasions where we had a chance for plays. Darrell Williams had a great game outside of the holding. And those are always judgment calls. And but he played outstanding, and that's what's kind of it's hard to take.
Ever had a player get 3 holding calls in a game?
I don't think we've had. I don't know that the offensive line had 3 all year up to this point. So it's just how it happened.
Is the defense just been inconsistent?
Yeah, at times, a little bit inconsistent for sure. Yeah.
What happened on the? You guys made a nice, deliberate, slow substitution and forced Baylor kind of into a timeout. Then coming out of the timeout, you guys had to.
We had one extra linebacker out there. Thought we were in a regular set. We were in a heavy set and got it mixed up. Fortunately, we stopped them 3 plays later and backed them up actually off of the sack.
You mentioned the inconsistency. Is that particularly disappointing, given the fact that most of these guys played last year and everybody was kind of expecting a jump this season defensively?
Yeah, and we've had some games where we have been pretty good, but it hasn't been consistent enough for sure.
Bob, talking about that and 12 men on the field, seems like there's been a few times this year where that's been a problem. What causes that? Who's responsible for making sure that you have the right number of people out there?
Well, Coach Kish and Coach Montgomery, are responsible for the substitutions, and at times we've just been caught with, the communication, who's supposed to be out there.
But when you lose a game like that, it's one thing, to lose a close one, but to be dominated like that, does it set off alarms in your head that something fundamentally is wrong with what we're doing?
I mean, it depends on your definition of alarms. I don't want to say no, but act like I ignore it. So I'm very aware, as a coach, as all our assistants are, that yes, there's a sense of urgency, to improve and get things corrected. For instance, a year ago about this time, a lot of those alarms went off, and we were able to, to finish the year undefeated and end up winning the Sugar Bowl and being 6th in the country. So, whether, that's not going to happen, this year where we've got 3 losses, but there's been quite a bit of what we've done through the year that's really pretty good. Now we've got to be more consistent with it and build on it, acknowledge what we can fix and work at it.
How much of the problem that you're addressing has to do with the persistent or the fighting back and the will to win and those types of things?
That's all there. Again, it gets down to our ability to execute and us coaches being able to help our players and put them in the best possible positions. So all of us together have just got to do a better job. So I'm very. I hate where we're at too. Very angry, but we've got to go to. We're determined to go to work and improve it.
Bob, you had an exchange in the post-game press conference, I think, where you're being told something about fan reaction on social media. You were kind of quoted as saying that some people thought maybe you were saying you didn't care what the fans had to say.
I don't think I ever said that. But I said, well, of course they're going to have they're going to have a reaction. I appreciate our fans big time. We've been sold out every game for 16 years. I mean, that's pretty special. That doesn't happen most places, and it sure wasn't happening 17 years ago. I know that. So I'm very aware of the expectations that we and I have been a part of creating here. it was pointed out to me, I guess we're 89-7 here at home over that time. So when you win 93% of your games at home, you're not used to watching that. So I understand, but you know it's you know, so it's going to be there. When you lose, you're going to be criticized, and you're going to have people mad at you, and that's part of it.
Why do you, if you have lost some home field advantage, why do you think that is?
You know, again, there's no particular one reason. You know, teams that have come in, you know, there's a few good reasons for the K-State game. You know, this last week they just whipped us. So we've got to play better and coach better.
There's been a lot of fan feedback through various channels the last 3 days about your comment about who cares. And I understand what you said just now about that, but the comment was who cares? And you've got a stadium expansion that the funding's not all there yet. Is there concern that you may be alienating those same fans that you know your athletic director is asking money from?
Listen, when I say no, there isn't. I think our fan base is great, and I know our booster base is great. When I say who care, I can't worry about social media. I didn't say anything that I don't care about our fans. I said I don't care about social media. Okay, that is not something I participate in, ever will. So that, to clarify, that's what I'm talking about. Our fans, I have always acknowledged and appreciated, and that doesn't change when you lose a game.
Bobby, you got third quarter heavy booing. Everybody had to notice it. Does that have an effect, especially since you had a big bunch of recruits here? Is that a negative, or how do you respond?
Well, it's unfortunate. I don't, you know, again, I understand the expectations here, and like I said, I've been a part of them. When you win 93% of your games here, it's you know, you've created that expectation, and there's just no. You know, I say it's unfortunate. There's no escaping the fact that the players feel it. I know it's directed at me, but in the end, there's no. You can't separate it. Those players that are out there trying to play are going to take some part of that, and that part is unfortunate. And yes, recruits are aware of it as well. And but you know, so be it. That's you got to deal with it.
You mentioned last year you noticed some alarms at the midseason, and then you guys rallied and had a great finish to the year. That was kind of a young team figuring some things out. This was a veteran team this year. Why do you think the alarms are, you know, the same issues have come up this year at this point in the season?
There's again no particular reason. We just haven't, you know, both. When I say coaches and players, we haven't performed as well as as we would have liked.
Does it go back to maybe the talent was overvalued?
No, I don't. You know, I don't know what you valued the talent at. We have good players, and all across the board, really good guys that work hard and are good players. So. You know, in different instances, you may match up differently in different ways. The bottom line is, you know, I don't know where you valued it at, but I like our players.
Samaje only had 5 carries last week. Is that based on game situations, 4 being back? What was the reason?
Yeah, Keith was playing well, and you know, and then. Again, we didn't have as many carries as we probably would have liked. Again, we got behind the chains quite a bit, and then in the second half, you're behind the scoreboard. So we didn't get an opportunity to play like we would have wanted to, like we did in the first quarter.
Bob, was it just matchups you got away from the diamond formation last week? Because it seemed to work for you real well at Iowa State.
Yeah, a little bit. You know, just offensive coaches feel certain formations fit better for what they're doing. So that's their judgment call.
You had good success early with 2 tight ends. Didn't do it much later. Is that just the way the game went? You got away. The circumstance of the game made it where you needed to open it up more.
Well, in the second half, yes, but again, you still need to be able to go back to formations that are working for you.
Will you work Blake at quarterback a little bit early this week? Can you find out more on Trevor?
You know, I probably. You know, in fact, I'm sure we will, just as a in-case situation.
So he would be a backup?
Yes.
When's the last time he was working in practice for you guys?
Oh, early in the year when Cody was sore, and he looked good in there. He still went in there and threw the ball well and, did a good job.
So he would be a backup to Cody Thomas, or he would be the quarterback if Trevor didn't go?
No, like he'd be the backup to Cody.
Bob, another big picture question. This is the third year out of the last four you guys started the season, preseason top five, which automatically puts you in national contention. Didn't really finish anywhere near, though, contending nationally. Are you discouraged by some kind of, if that shows a trend at all?
No, I'm never discouraged. I'm always encouraged. And I imagine we're not the only team that has started in the top five and not finished in the top five. I'm pretty sure there's been quite a few other teams as well. We did finish, we finished sixth last year, one out of the top five, right?
Yeah, but
yeah.
I'm asking you about the other 3 years. I'm not asking you about last year.
Oh, well, everyone wants to know the current situation. That's most current. So that's why I'm talking about it.
Well, the most current situation has you ranked fourth this season, and you're not even in the top 25 right now. So, again, the question is simply, are you discouraged?
I'm encouraged.
Okay.
I'm never discouraged. Things happen, you deal with them, and you move on, and you keep trying to improve the situation.
In years past, you've made a lot of mention about how you don't want to do the roller coaster thing, go up and down, and yet today you've talked a lot about how the team has been pretty inconsistent this season. Having not won back-to-back games since mid-September, does it feel like you guys are in a more of a roller coaster situation?
No, when I talk roller coaster, that's the roller coaster of highs and lows and emotions, not inconsistency on the field.
Coach, how involved are you in offensive play calling? I know you have 1,000 things going on. So
No, it's just like defensive play calling. I see what we're working through the week, and what we're executing. The runs, the passes. So if I don't like something, it's said then. So in the end, am I calling plays? No, but I'm aware of what we're working through the week that's going to be on the field.
How do you evaluate the play calling this last game?
I'm not going to do that publicly. What I talk about with my assistant coaches is between us.
What about the decision to go for the punt block? Was that your call, or was that?
Ultimately it's my call. When I signaled the return, I thought Jay understood that I wanted a return, and he took it as get the defense off, put the team on, and he signaled, and he went for the block, trying to be aggressive. And in that transition, I missed the fact that he called the block. I thought he understood me. I wanted a return, and so that's my fault. And that was a major mistake. That kind of finished off the second quarter, with just the other things that happened.
Bob, in the postgame, Mike talked about the last 2 years, Baylor's just been a horrible matchup for you. Is there anything about Baylor that is anything they do? Is it their available players, or what is it?
Let's face it, they're the leading scoring team in the country. They've been a bad matchup for most everybody in the way they stretch you, their ability to run the ball, and then some of the speed and the way they separate you out on the perimeter.
How much of this simply comes down to recruiting, because they've recruited much better the last few years, particularly at wide receiver?
Well, I'm not. Again, I like our players, so I'm not going to sit here and act like anybody's got better players than us. That is, you're never going to hear me say that, and I'm not saying that. So it's just leave it at that.
You guys played with an edge late last year, particularly in that Sugar Bowl. You mentioned you have a lot of the same players back. In the two losses you got stuffed on the 4th and short or 3rd and short in the K-State TCU games, and then the third quarter against Baylor. Has this team lost its edge at some point along this season?
I don't. Yeah, when you're not executing really well, it's hard to have a great edge. So I think they go hand in hand. When you're executing really well, everyone calls it an edge. When you're not, you don't have it, so it has nothing to do with their effort or attitude.
One difference in last year, Bob, is you finished the year against really good teams. K-State was really good. OSU's playing for a Big 12 title. This year, you're getting second division teams the last 3 games. You talked about keeping guys motivated, but it seems like even the carrots of just winning the games are not going to be as empowering as
I disagree. I think our guys really, when they look at everybody, pretty much the same. That's when you have to play and you know each of these teams can beat you. You've got to make your improvements and be at your best.
Josh Heupel started off, with Paul Thompson, Sam Bradford, and got going really good with Landry. And then when he became offensive coordinator, it seems his last 3 quarterbacks have kind of plateaued, kind of peaked early and then plateaued. Is there maybe something to he's going with too much time calling plays, or guys are not being developed like they should be? Their ascension is stopping at some point.
All guys have different skill sets and talent, and to say one guy is going to be Sam Bradford, who never throws a bad ball and is the very first pick in the draft, is it fair to expect every guy to do that? Not really. Josh works hard with those guys. They're very diligent about it. The players work hard, come in, get extra time. So, again, I think all their skill sets are different, and they'll develop at different times, different ways. And I think Trevor, again, still has a major upside that'll come.
Being such a young coach and a young coordinator, is that difficult for him too, to find his rhythm and the way he wants to call an offense while still trying to find the way he wants to develop quarterbacks?
Well, I think it can be challenging. For instance, a year ago, with Blake and Trevor being injured at different times and finding a rhythm there can be challenging. Sure, here with Trevor this whole time, that shouldn't be.
Bob, it's kind of interesting. From your standpoint, is it frustrating? I mean, a week ago, these same comments were talking about Trevor Knight on the ascension. He was the first guy to throw for 3 touchdowns and run for 3. He ran for 146, and so a week later, now he can't play. How is it with you sifting through all of this?
It's just answering questions for me. But I got great faith in Trevor as a quarterback. As I just said, I think he's got a major upside that'll continue to grow and come. He's shown it in multiple games, and at times, he needs to be supported better. Everything is he's not making all the plays himself, and when they aren't very good, it isn't all him either by a long shot. He didn't have a hand in missing a block on 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1. So it isn't all him by any means.
Bob, can you talk about the jobs Baker Mayfield's done on the scout team, and is he going to make the trip to Lubbock this weekend?
Baker's done an excellent job, on scout team, and fabulous job. The guy has all kind of energy, throwing it great, doing everything you want him to do. We're not allowed to take him on the trip because he's ineligible, but if I know him, he'll be down there. He'll be riding with somebody.
How much can he help you scouting-wise?
Oh, quite a bit. He can, he can't make any plays for you, but he can go through all the reads, with us and what they're looking for.
Will you open up the quarterback job in the spring?
All jobs are open in the spring. All the time. I've never had a job closed here ever.
Bob, would it help Trevor some maybe to have Josh on the sideline with him during these games so that he can? I mean, I know he's talking to him throughout the game, but is that something that could help?
That's something that I guess it could. They talk the second he gets off the sideline almost every series, so he's communicating with them. Just the same way he would looking at him. But it's something worth asking him. But again, is it? Is it more effective for Josh to have his sheet and have his calls up there? But I'm sure he could do either one.
But Trevor's inconsistent passes, is that mechanics where sometimes he throws a really good ball and other times it's hard?
Sometimes it's mechanics. In his defense the other day, there's a pretty good breeze, that affected the ball on an occasion or two. It was a 20-25 mile per hour gusts, and it would pick up at different times.
What is Cody showing you so far, and how comfortable are you with him if he has to be your starter?
Very comfortable with Cody. He's shown great poise when he's been out there. He's shown a comfort level in what we're doing. The ability to throw it. So I'll feel good about him out there.
You just talked about Josh at the press box, but if you do have to start Cody, there's a guy making his first true start on the road. Does that perhaps change that dynamic?
It could, and that's something I'm sure Josh will consider. You know, he's got a good feel for that and what those guys need and what he needs to do. So you know, I'm sure he'll analyze that situation.
With Trevor's situation, what quarterbacks will you take to Lubbock? Will Justice Hanson go?
Oh yeah, Justice goes every week, regardless. He's gone on every trip this year.
Do you have another one? Do you have a walk-on that goes also?
No.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
When you were playing TCU, you had Baker on the sideline. Can schools restrict you from having people on your sideline?
Not that I know of.
How concerned are you with Michael Honeycutt's recent struggles, and how does that change things, especially in the red zone?
Yeah, I can't. I'm still going to, in the right situations, I'm not going to hesitate to put Michael out there. You know, it is, you know, a little bit concerning when, you know, when he misses another one that he rarely ever misses. So, you know, I can't. I'm not going to ignore it, but I'm not going to stop going to him too. You have to, you know, to continue to give him those opportunities.
Bob, Eric Stryker has not shown up as much as he did early and as much as most people expected. Can you explain that?
Well, I would disagree. He had another really good game in the way he played, the way he hustled. He was fabulous against Iowa State just the week before. So I don't know that Eric's had a poor game yet. I mean, he had a good game the other day, and in the way they set, you know, the way they set their in a lot of their spread formations, he wasn't in a position to rush as much in what they were doing. So therefore, you know, he was out in different locations, but he still played well.
What about Charles Tapper?
You know, the front line had a really good game. Tapper had an excellent game. Chuka was was a player of the game. He and Dom Alexander with 18 tackles, but Jordan, Matt Romar, Chuka, Tapper, and Matt Diamond all inside really played well.
What about Gino? Lumping him in with the Tapper and Stryker, a lot of people expected those guys to create a lot of pressure on quarterbacks this year, and it hasn't happened. What's going on there?
Again, I think they've had their share of sacks. Gino's had quite a few sacks, so we've gotten good pressure. We had 2 sacks the other day. We had 2 or 3 against Iowa State. I think we're in the top half of the league in sacks. And how many have we forced out of their hand that wasn't a sack? Iowa State game, there had to be 10 of them. So we've got a lot of pressure.
I think after doing what you guys did to Alabama last year and exposing and they had first-round picks up front.
He held the ball a little bit longer, you know. So a little bit too when they're getting it out of their hand and not taking a sack and throwing an incompletion. It's sometimes it's the same thing.
How would safeties play?
I'm not going to go through, you know what I mean, each guy here. Again, these are college guys. For me to call out, this guy played good, this guy didn't, it doesn't work. It's not the right thing to do.
In light of Saturday, how would you describe the state of this program right now?
Well, I kind of just said it a little bit ago. And we're, 8-9 months away from being ranked 6th in the country and winning the Sugar Bowl. And had a top 15 recruiting class. And we're 6-3. Coach has got us still in the top 25. AP is pretty close. Recruiting's going fantastic. Really excited about what's happening there. So some are better than us, and we're probably better than most. So, you know, much like I said a year ago at this time when I was asked the same question.
I think fans feel like recruits, they're the same as they are, that after that game was over, that there's no way they'd want to come to Oklahoma. How was your
We had a great
reaction?
recruiting weekend, and I'm sure you guys will be in touch with them and just evaluate what they say. We had a great weekend with them.
The uniforms make a big impact on them and everything?
I don't think so.
It sounds like you're optimistic even despite the way you played Saturday.
Absolutely.
You mentioned Texas Tech is better than their record. Do you think you guys are better than your record?
Doesn't matter.
But
that's not a question I'm going to answer.
Could you kind of describe the coaching philosophy of an offense taking what a defense gives you versus, imposing your will on a defense? Why you do sometimes and you don't do other times?
Well, sometimes, again, it's you spread out just like everyone does, and if they're heavy in their pass coverage, you run the football. If they're squeezing you on the running game, you throw the football. That's what the game is. And then sometimes you're just going to move somebody, and when you block correctly or don't let someone cross your face on a block, you execute a blocking scheme and you move them and you still run it.
Are you guys one or the other? Do you prefer to be one or the other?
We prefer to first take advantage of what you're giving us, but at times you still need to be able to move somebody and get 3rd and 1 and execute your blocks correctly.
Would be accurate to say you prefer to be both?
Well, yeah, that's what I meant. That's what I thought I was saying. When at times that's what that's what you have to do in certain situations, or when you're like running the clock out at the end of a game. Sometimes same thing.
Bob, with Baylor's success in 5 wides, you expect to see that a lot in Lubbock from Tech?
Considering they already do it a lot, yes. That's something that they've already been doing really all year.
How much of that problem is the formation and how you responded to it? How much of it is just how good the guys throwing and catching were for Baylor?
Well, again, we need to take ownership that we need to play better and deploy better. Everything, react quicker, all of that. But you have to, give them credit again. I thought, the way they executed was really outstanding. The quarterback, his ability and release to get the ball where it's almost like he was pitching a baseball. So he really was exceptional that way, and you got to acknowledge that when you see it.
Does Julian play this week? Wilson with that thumb?
We'll see. We're gonna have to see how it looks today and how he feels and what he's able to do.
One more question. It looked like Hager was spying on Trevor when he was running the read option and doing a good job. The defensive end was synced down and Hager was right on Trevor no matter what. Is that an accurate portrayal? And how do you combat that? How do you take?
Well, again, like I say, sometimes everybody defends that play different ways, and that was an effective way to limit his opportunity to get out and run. We can, in the future, I'm sure we can adjust some of the blocking scheme to try and take advantage of that.
Can you adjust in game?
Yes.
Is there something you could have done differently during the game?
No, we felt the way we were running it. We ran for about 5 yards a carry, was effective. Again, it's okay in our mind if you're taking a linebacker out. Trevor doesn't have to carry it all the time. So our running the football wasn't a problem other than 3rd and short.